This is Dan Willis from yourbadcreditcard.net, and we are talking about debt collections and what you should do when you first get that letter in the mail from a company you've never done any business with that claims you owe them money. What should you do? One of the first things and the very most important thing is not to pay. Whatever you do, don't get that bill and just write a check and send a payment in. Don't do that. Please avoid doing that. The first place you should start is by requesting validation, and you need to do this in written form. Don't do it verbally. If you do it verbally, they can always just say that you didn't request it. So make sure that you have documentation, and we encourage you to send your request using certified mail. That way you even have receipt that you sent the debt request validation. You can do that with a debt validation letter, or if you have a credit repair firm you're working with, they can do that on your behalf. Whatever you want to do, but you can do that yourself, and that's going to require the collection agency or debt collector to prove that they own your debt. They have to send you evidence and documents that say and proves that they are the legal owners of your debt and that your debt is within the statute of limitations. If you're not familiar, oftentimes debts go way beyond the standard 7-year statute of limitations on most types of debts, like unsecured credit cards. So make sure that you request validation. That'll put the burden of proof on them. They'll have to respond to you and show you that evidence. The next step is the collection agencies often won't comply with your validation request. If they don't comply, there's a couple ways. They can either just ignore it, and if they're ignoring it, they're breaking the law. But if they don't comply or don't validate your debt, then you don't owe the money anymore, and you need to get it removed from your credit report. You can there's a couple different ways you can do that, but the very next step is if your debt is valid, then like if they prove, they prove that it's valid and within the statute of limitations, then you can negotiate a settlement payment, which should always be for much less than the amount they're contacting you about. You can always negotiate to pay less, but in exchange, and you need to get this in writing, in exchange for your payment, they will stop reporting your account to the credit bureaus. If you don't get them to give you that agreement that they'll stop reporting your account, then after you pay your debt, you're still going to have bad credit on your credit report. Best case scenario, they're going to take that debt collections item and they're going to change it to a paid collections, which is still a really bad item to have on your credit report. That's like barely better than having an unpaid collections on there. And then the last thing is the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act sets some clear laws and guidelines that the collection agencies are required to follow. Despite this federal law, collection agencies get sued for millions of dollars every single year by the FTC and the Federal Trade Commission. But if you are worried or want to just protect your rights and know about your rights, check that out. You do have rights. You don't have to be a victim to aggressive collection agencies, and you shouldn't. So make sure you're aware of your rights. Don't just give in to their bullying tactics and often law-breaking tactics. Not all of them, but it seems like the vast majority of them from what we've heard. And whatever the case, don't be their victims and don't just live with bad credit. If you'd like to get a free report in the 7 super simple steps to clean your credit, visit yourbadcreditcard.net. Again, that's yourbadcreditcard.net, and you can sign up for your free report of the 7 super simple steps to clean your credit. Please subscribe to our channel. If you have any specific questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them below, and have a wonderful afternoon. Looking forward to talking to you again soon.